All right, today we're going to tackle a massive challenge for IT service businesses, and that is automating the reconciliation of your monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. We're going to walk through how to use QuickBooks and AI to save yourself countless hours, get rid of those pesky errors, and finally, get true clarity on the actual health of your business. Let's dive in. So let me start with a question that, well, it might keep you up at night. You look at your total revenue in QuickBooks, and yeah, the number looks pretty good. But is that number really telling you the whole story? For most managed service providers out there, the answer is a hard no. Your accounting software could be hiding a pretty dangerous reality. Okay, let's look at a real-world example. Here's a single invoice. It's for one client for $22,500. I mean, on the surface, that looks fantastic, right? But the most important question you can possibly ask is the one right here on the screen. How much of that is real, stable, recurring revenue? And when you dig in, here's what you see. We've got $7,500 for managed services. Okay, that's our MRR. But then there's this $12,000 project payment, some license resale, and an emergency break-fix charge. See? It's all just jumbled together into one big, kind of misleading number. And this, right here, this illustrates the core problem perfectly. The traditional accounting view, it just sees a nice round $22,500 in revenue. But the business view, the one that actually matters for your strategy and your valuation, it sees something completely different. It sees a foundation of $7,500 in MRR and then a whole lot of one-time, unpredictable income piled on top. These are absolutely not the same thing. Okay, so why is this such a big deal? Why is this distinction so critical? This isn't just about having tidy books. Confusing your total revenue with your recurring revenue can actively damage, and I mean even kill, your business. Well, for starters, just look at this number. Your business valuation, it's typically based on a multiple of your recurring revenue, not your total revenue. If you mistake that $22,000 invoice for MRR, you could be overvaluing your business by 200%. That is a massive and, frankly, a potentially catastrophic error to make. Let me tell you a quick story, a cautionary tale about a company we'll call TechGuard MSP. For 2 years straight, their total revenue was growing. Everything looked amazing on paper, but what they couldn't see, what was hidden in the numbers, was that their MRR, the very core of their business, was slowly eroding. It was completely masked by these big one-time projects. And when those projects dried up in year 3, the whole business just collapsed because its foundation was basically rotten. And the lesson here, the thing you have to remember is this. Revenue growth without MRR growth is a major red flag. It's like the business equivalent of eating junk food. Sure, you're getting calories, but there's no real nutrition. You have to be tracking the health of your core. All right, so how do we actually fix this? Well, we start by bringing some order to all that chaos. And that means creating crystal clear definitions for every single dollar that comes into your business. No ambiguity. Let's start with the big one, the most important one, monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. This is your foundation. It's that predictable, contractual revenue you get every single month for your ongoing managed services. It is the lifeblood of a healthy MSP. And listen, it's just as important to know what MRR isn't. That one-time onboarding fee, even if you let the client pay it over 3 months, nope, not MRR. An annual license renewal, also not MRR. Getting this stuff wrong is exactly how the messy accounting starts in the first place. Okay, next up, project revenue. Now, this is great for cash flow, don't get me wrong, but it's one-time work. It has a clear beginning and a clear end. Think about things like server migrations or new office setups. It's valuable, for sure, but it doesn't contribute to the long-term predictable value of your business in the same way that MRR does. And then you've got break-fix revenue. This is kind of the old model, right? Something breaks, a client calls you in a panic, you fix it, you send a bill. For a modern MSP, this is really a sign of reactive, low-value work. Your goal should be to make this number as small as possible by converting these clients over to stable, managed contracts. In a healthy business, this revenue stream should be shrinking. Finally, and oh man, this one is sneaky, is license resale. You resell Microsoft 365 or antivirus software. It might even be billed monthly, but the margins are razor thin. We're talking 5 to 20%. If you lump this in with your high-margin managed services, you are completely distorting your company's true profitability. It absolutely has to be tracked separately. Okay, we've got our definitions. Now for the really important part. How do we turn these ideas into an actual automated system that gives us clarity? Let's walk through the exact path to get there. It all starts right inside your QuickBooks with your chart of accounts. Most MSPs, when they start out, have this messy, generic bucket just for IT services. The goal is to completely transform that into a clean, structured setup with separate, clear accounts for managed services, projects, break fix, and license resale. This structure, this is the foundation for everything else that's going to follow. Look, this whole process really just breaks down into 3 simple, manageable steps. First, you structure. Get your QuickBooks chart of accounts set up right. Second, you automate. This is where the magic happens. You use an AI tool that literally reads every single line item on every invoice and automatically assigns it to the correct revenue bucket. No more manual spreadsheets. And third, you visualize. You feed all that perfectly clean data into a dashboard that shows you your business's true health at a glance. And once you do those steps, well, you get the payoff. This is what it looks like to go from total data chaos to having clear, actionable intelligence right at your fingertips. No, really, just stop for a second and think about it. What kind of strategic decisions could you make if you knew, down to the dollar, exactly where your revenue is coming from? If you knew your true churn rate, your expansion revenue, your average price per seat, what would that change for you? This is what it all leads to. This is the dashboard that this system produces. There's no more guesswork. You see your total MRR, your net new MRR for the month, your churn rate, your average revenue per client. You can see not just how much money you made, but the quality and the stability of that revenue. This one chart tells you pretty much everything about the health of this business. This is the revenue mix of a best-in-class MSP. You see that strong, dominant core of 82% MRR. It's supplemented by strategic projects, and then there's this tiny, shrinking slice of break fix. This is what good looks like. So let's just wrap up with the 3 key takeaways from all of this. First, total revenue is a vanity metric. MRR is your sanity metric. Please focus on sanity. Second, you have to meticulously separate your revenue streams. Don't let projects and licenses distort your core numbers. And third, the only way to do this sustainably, without going crazy, is through automation. Manual tracking just does not scale. So, I'm going to leave you where we started, but with a slightly different question. It's not about whether your accounting is lying to you. It's about whether you have the clarity you need to answer this one fundamental question. Do you really know your business's true value? Because with the right structure and the right tools, you absolutely can.